Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our weekly 30-minute webinar. My name is Brian McKay, Systems Engineer here at Variphy. I will be your host for today's session, where we will be discussing how to quickly get started with Webex Call Analytics. Here to walk us through, we have fellow engineer Mike Stratton. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. All right. Please note that these webinars are always recorded and posted within 24 hours, so you can review them at any time. Check out the webinar section at variphy.com for all of our past and upcoming sessions. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. First, we'll start off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. Then we'll jump into a live demo where Mike's going to guide us through Webex Analytics. We'll pause for Q&A. During the demo, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them in the Q&A panel in the bottom right corner of the screen. After Q&A, we'll reward one lucky attendee with a $50 Amazon gift card, so stick around to see if you've won. Quick overview of Variphy. Variphy is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco and Zoom collaboration, deployable either on-prem or as a hosted cloud solution. We provide industry-leading call reporting and analytics, as well as customizable dashboards and widgets, UCCX reporting, remote phone control, change management, Cisco Cube CDR, and our latest edition, Zoom and Webex call reporting. And coming very soon, we'll be supporting Microsoft Teams call reporting as well. If you have any questions on any of our features, please contact us at support@variphy.com or just reach out to your account manager. And one more thing before we kick this off, for an additional fee, Variphy offers an enhanced consulting service to your customers. Variphy's SE team engages with you on a one-on-one basis to remotely provide additional consulting, report building, dashboard configuration, and system monitoring. This is a service that provides you with a dedicated Variphy systems engineer to do the heavy lifting, giving you a stress-free experience. For more information, please contact us or your account manager, and we'd be glad to speak more in depth about pricing and terms of service for our enhanced consulting services, or ECS. All right, let's get into the wild. I'm going to hand things off to Mike now. Please remember to type your questions in the Q&A panel. Over to you, Mike.
Today we're going to go over or kind of record a quick start guide to Webex Calling Analytics. This does not include dashboards and widgets and the administrative side of things. It's just going to kind of go over the reporting side of things. So the whole idea is you've configured Variphy Reporting and Analytics, and then now what, or where do you go from there? So, or really, what are the fundamental tasks that you would do? So for me, if I was jumping into the software and going into Webex Calling for the first time, I would start with kind of getting an idea of the layouts and some of the small tweaks that you can make to make the reporting a little bit easier for you. So starting at the top of the page, right now we're in Call Analytics. This is the module that we're going to focus on. If you're a Webex Calling user, you will not see, or you would likely not see the phone control, change management, or DID management icons. Dashboard widgets should still probably be around. Navigating, though, when jumping from feature to feature, you can use the app launcher in the top left corner, change your platform, or pick your platform from the drop-down list. Here we're going to Webex, and then you'll see what features are available for Webex Calling. If we jump back into like Call Manager here, you'll see what's available or licensed, not just licensed, but also what's available to your user account. So sticking with Webex, going to the right-hand side, you'll see your version of Variphy, and then there's a logout button. There is your account, and then logs and settings if you're an administrator. So going under the My Account sections, there's a few things here that you can tweak. If you're a local account, you'll see a box here, which I don't have, to manually select, manually change your password. Underneath that, you'll see two drop-downs here. There's your default feature after login and your default platform. This is what tells our software like where to put you when you first log into the software. So here, if you want to go like if you have like a Cube platform, Call Manager, and Webex, and you want the software to always kind of put you right into Webex first thing, make sure your default feature is Webex Calling Analytics. Like for me today, mine was set for CUCM Call Analytics, so you can change it to Webex Calling and then pick which platform or which part of Webex you're going to go into. My only option here is Webex Calling. You can change your time zone if you need to. And then moving down here, within call history, and I'm going to jump on here. So right now within call history, there is a default search criteria right here. Our standard default is always, for every user, is the calling party number. So every time you log into call history, you'll see calling party number as your default criteria. Under your account settings, you can change your default search type. So here under Webex, I have selected calling or called party number. So instead of searching for just calling party number or call party number, I'm going to look for both sides of the call. That way, I can just throw in any extension, and it'll pull back all call records, inbound, outbound, or internal, associated to that number. So you can also do this for any other platform too, Cube, CUCM, Zoom, as well. And then if you get into label sets and you want to assign them to the Webex Calling Analytics, you can. Label sets are where you can rename columns and fields to match what you're looking for. So like instead of having calling or called party number, you can have a set for like calling or called extension number or extension. And so you can definitely change that from our system default here. So I'm going to keep this as it is, and then so if I go back to reports and history, I have to log back out, but I'll just bring back my calling party number. And there we go. Okay, so that's the layout. Going down a couple of pixels, then you'll see at the top of the call analytics section, there's 4 options. We have call history, reports, scheduled, and the configure section. That's kind of what we're going to be looking at today. But also to the right-hand side, you have the run report option and data summary. So run report is if you're in here, you know what report you want to run. You can click on it, and then you can pick your report from the list of saved reports, and then click on search time window, and then fire it off that way here. Most users, I find, myself included, when running reports, we go into the reports menu and then pick the report from the list. But if you're coming in here real quick, it's a little bit quicker way to run the report. And the data summary option, when you click on it, it'll show you your data visibility, but it'll also show you the date range for the available data. So here we have data from February 25th to March 6th. So like for instance, if you're tasked with running a report for like the last 6 months, if you're curious as to do you even have the data in your system, you can come in here, click on the button up here in the corner, and then it'll show you what's available. So in this case, we only have data going back a few weeks. Okay. Next step, I'm going to start off in call history. I like call history, especially when I'm training, because it's a lot easier to kind of show you our users how to kind of change the data they're looking for and kind of explain what the data looks like. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time in here. Call history is great for searching for just a call record, like who dialed 911, or I want to pull up all of Bob's data, or a customer called in, they complained, I have their phone number, I'm going to search for it to see maybe who they talked to. It's for instances where you don't need a full report, but you want to look at data. Also, you can use call history to test run some of your queries or for your search criteria. If you want to build a report that has like counts and averages and totals and stuff like that, it's great. But like if you don't know what calls are actually making up that total call count, you can come into call history, run the same query and see the actual calls and get a better idea of what's going on with your data. So starting here, we have a search based on option. It's either sequences or events. And this kind of goes back to what we see with like call manager data, where we have like what we call cradle to grave or start to finish, where there's multiple records per each call. So if I do a quick search here, if I just put in 4X's, and capital X is our wildcard. So if I'm looking for anything that like starts with or contains a number, like ends with, if I just did ends with X, I would pull back all calls that have a value in one of these two fields. If I did equals 4X's, then I'm looking for everything where this field, the calling party number or the called party number, have or equal 4 digits or 4 characters. So we'll go ahead and view the results. And while this is searching, I'll say that this is also filtering or it's searching for the current day. Up here in the top right corner, there's the search time window. Clicking on that button right up here will bring up the search time window where you can change your search. There's a bunch of canned options. This is also can be applied to when you're running a report. And all of our drop-down lists have like a built-in search function. So if I'm looking for like, I want to run a report for the previous week, if I just type in the word week, it'll filter the results, and then you only have 4 options to choose from instead of scrolling through this entire list. So you can search for month, week, day, previous hours, previous day, previous anything. Or if you want to handpick your date range, scroll to the top and you'll have the from specific date time window or the within specific date time window too. So if I click on the top guy here, then I have a range start and range end. I can click on the bring on the calendar, go back to, let's say, February 20th through March 4th or whatever. You can handpick your dates there. You can also exclude days of the week. So by default, all the days are included. I do see some users come in here and they think that this means I want to include the days. So they'll go like this and then save it, and then they're missing a lot of data, or like this, then they're missing, like, they're excluding Mondays through Friday when they actually thought they were including them. And so they're missing, a bunch of data from the report. So leave these guys on if you can, unless you want to exclude, certain days, like if you want to exclude the weekends here. And then you can also change your time zone below. So cancel out here. So here's my search. I'm pulling back. I'm searching on the sequences right now. Or my search is based on sequences for just the current day. So what I have here, I have 30 results. And I have groups of records. And so this record here, there's two rows to this record, or two events. I have this record here is what was matched in my search. So because I'm searching on the sequence, it's not just pulling back the one record that matches my search. It's pulling back any other legs or records that are part of the same call, because as calls are transferred, they may, or just within Webex's data, there's really two rows of data or two records per call to start off with, and then there can be more as the call is transferred. So within this, each record here is an event, so each row is an event, but when combined, we call them a sequence. So here I'm searching on events. If I was to just pull back, I'm searching on sequence. If I was to just search on the event and view the results, it's going to come back and just show the records that have a 4-digit number in either the calling party or called party number field. And so you notice I have 50 records here, and when I go back to sequences, I think there's 30. The reason is because this is counting the number of sequences. So there's 30 sequences, and when I search on events, it's pulling back the number of individual records. So when filtering on sequences, your count will also be based on the number of sequences, not the number of rows of data. Okay, so sequences, you can also change the sort direction. You can also filter by duration. So it's a quick drop down where you can either filter by connected calls, non-connected calls, filter out calls with zero duration, only show calls with zero duration. So this is a quick way if you're filtering, if you want to exclude connected or not connected calls, you can use this drop down. And then here we have the criteria. So this is all the fields that we have to work with or play around with. You can select one or more criteria from the dropdown, and then basically, if you're familiar with like SQL Server, you're essentially building a where clause, and you're telling our software what to pull out of the database. So you can have more than one criteria here. If I want to add, let's say, the manager as well, I can do calling or call party manager user, add it to my search, and then click one or more managers. You also can see here anytime you see an entry where there is it has the word is, if you click on it, you can easily make it as not. So if you want to exclude certain managers, you can also do it here. So if I want to exclude all of these managers, now I'm excluding them instead of including them, and I'm also searching for all the four-digit numbers here. Now, when you're adding more than one criteria to your search, there is a toggle that says match all criteria. If this is turned on, then what this is saying is I'm looking for everything where the calling or called party number is 4 digits, and the calling or called party manager user is not within my list. If this is turned off, then now it's saying or. So now I'm saying I want everything where the calling or called party number is 4 digits, or the call record, the manager of the call record is not one of these 7 different users here. So, okay. And then when we get the results, we get rid of this one here, go back into the results, turn them back on. Once you bring back the results, actually, I'm going to go back to sequences. Once you get the results on here, you can export the results to a report, which will then bring up this menu here, which is the same exact menu that we have that you see when building a report. Or you can also remove or include additional columns. So when it comes to the columns, there's a few different types. You have date, time, originating party. Originating party is the party that places the call. So on like an inbound call, It'll be the outside party who's calling into your system on an internal or outbound call. It'll be the person or the extension who's calling out or calling internally. Terminating party in this case. Terminating party would be the party that is receiving the call, or in this case, like if the call's going to voicemail, the call's going to another employee or extension, going to an auto attendant, going to a hunt group call queue, or if it's an outbound call, the person could be calling the pizza place down the street. And then we have duration, call identifier, and call queue. These are the fields that I kind of select by default. They're not our standard defaults, but they're the ones that I really like to see. Date time when the call happens, calling party number, calling party name. This tells you, who's calling in, what number they're calling for, and then the one that I really recommend including to the column list is the calling party and called party user type. This is not enabled by default. But it's available by default. It's just not added to your results by default when you first log in as a user. But it helps you kind of understand where the call is going to and what devices are handling the call, especially when you get into like calls to a hunt group or calls to a call queue. Let me find. I think this is, yeah. So here in this case, we can see a call coming in. It's hitting an auto attendant. It's going to a hunt group. And so you can see with all these different call legs here that are part of the sequence, understanding if the call is going from like local gateway to the auto attendant to the hunt group. And then here we have the hunt group, presenting the call to all the different users. By having these columns in here, you can really understand exactly what each leg is representing. And then we have call duration. I always include it. Direction, call scenario can tell you what each leg represents. So it was answered, not connected. So here we can see here the hunt group is presenting the calls to the different agents. All these calls are not connected. So we know that these agents, were given the chance to answer the call and they didn't pick up. Mohammed here at the bottom though, he did pick up and he talked with them for 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Was the call sent to voicemail, and then we have call queue name and hunt group name here. So that's what I like to go with. I think these columns cover the majority of troubleshooting and kind of reports that I build. And then I think that kind of covers it for the history side. Let me jump into reports real quick. First time, going into the reports, what I would do as a new user is download our report templates. So you can see here, let me search for templates. We have a handful, I believe there's 9 reports on our website that you can download, then import into Variphy. If I could bring up our website here, go to resources, support center, and then downloads. It'll probably ask me to log in. It will. Let me do our CAPTCHA here. Click on the objects that can spin. Bowling ball. I mean, microwaves kind of spin on the inside, but I don't think they count. These guys here. All right. There we go. Log in. And then from our downloads menu, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the report templates for Webex Calling. Download them here. And then I've already downloaded them once today, but we'll go ahead and then just we'll pretend that's not there. And then we will unzip. All right. So here's the files here. These are the files for the reports. We'll go back into Variphy, hover over the green text on the right-hand side, and then click on Import Reports. Browse the files. Pick your files. Highlight them. Select them. You can select all of them. View them however many you want. And then once you click import reports, it'll bring these reports into the system. So from here, you can either run a save reports or create a new report from scratch. There's a lot of different options, ways to customize the reports. All of the information I showed you under call history, as far as like building your search, that all applies the same way here. You want to basically you're telling our software what to pull out of the database and to include in your report. So two ways to do it. One, you can click on a report here to edit the report, or you can click on the pencil icon here to edit the report. Both options take you to the same menu. If you want to run a report, click on the play button here. When it comes up, use the icons here on the left-hand side. Under delivery, you can pick your file output format, your delivery method. Just you fill in the blanks if you're doing email. You can pick from some saved recipients, or you can just freehand, type in. Oops, I'm not typing. You can freehand type in your recipient name here, change it how you want, search time window, pick your days, pick your date range, previous day, previous dates, pick a date range, and then run it, and then it will deliver the report. This icon here is a copy function. So if you have a report, like let's say you're building 5 different hunt group reports and you want to use the same report, just a different hunt group name or number, you can take your report here. Here's my hunt group report here. I can make a copy of it, and now I just come in, change your search set, and now I've got a new report that's the exact same as the other reports. I'm just looking for a different hunt group. Okay, so when building, also I should mention, trash can icon on the far right will delete your save report. So there's one way to create a new report. It's to click on the green text here that says create Webex reports. I'll go ahead and edit a save report. So I have a report that I'm playing around with. It's right here. I'm going to run it, and I'll show you. Let me see when I download. Right, I'll run this report, and then show you the different sections of the reports while we still have a few minutes left, and show you what they look like in the report. So here's my save report. Zoom in a little bit, and then let me edit the report. So whether you're creating a new report or you're editing an existing report, you have the same menu. The navigation icons are on the left-hand side: basic, search set, grouping stats, search set stats, call history details, and then by default this says cradle to grave, but we've renamed it in this instance to start to finish. Under the basic section, what you really want to worry about is giving your report a name, whether or not the report can be shared with other users. The description is optional. You can do date formatting, change your time formatting, and then you can turn on or off, different headers and summary options here. The next step down would be your search sets. This is the query, same thing as we were pulling out of call history. You can pick, first you want to click on the green text here to create a new search set, or in this case, you can modify an existing search set. If you're using our templates, there is information in our knowledge base on how to modify those templates. Let me jump into there. So if I was doing this is the detail by extension. Just search. If I search the name of the report, there will be a knowledge base article that gives you a quick summary on what the report is searching for, and then if you have to make any required changes to run the report in your environment, like for example, our report comes with a default search criteria. Looks like it's extension 3814. You will have to change this extension to be either a wildcard or to whatever extension you're looking for. So this will tell you. So each report here has a article, so you can go through and see how the report is built. But you can modify the search criteria if you're creating a new report. Click on the green search set text to add a new search set, and then just do what we did in call history. Pick your criteria from the drop down list here. If you're looking for, if you know what you're looking for, you can go ahead and type in what you're searching for. So looking for something on the calling side, typing the word calling will limit the number of results in the drop down list. So here I'll keep it the same way. I'm looking for anything wildcard related with the 4 digits, calling or call party number. I'll keep it simple for here, and then I'll come back to grouping. The search set stats revolve around what's being pulled out in that initial search. So here I've got my search. The search set stats are going to show me total call count, average duration, total call duration. I can pick anything from the list on the left-hand side here. Just double-click or hold Shift and click, and then add it to the list on the right-hand side. We can turn on some options down here. We can include data tables that break down your data by certain time units, like hour a day, quarter hour, half hour. This all applies on the grouping side as well. Or here we can do different call scenario tables, looking for the same idea, breaking the different scenarios like connected, not connected, forwarded, answered by certain time units. We can include charts and graphs, or down here we can play around with concurrent call activity. So leave this, going back up. So going back to my report here, this is my search set, or the search set statistics. So what I had up here, minus all this stuff right here, when I ran the report, call count, duration, or average duration, total call duration, you'll see it right here. Total call count, average duration, total call duration. And then the next section down is my grouping. So here, going from the search set stats, now we're going back up to grouping. I'm grouping, or I'm taking my query and I'm grouping it on the calling or called party number. And then down here, you can select what you want the group on. And in my case, I'm grouping on the number. And then we're including, different stats like total call count, originating call count, total call duration, average duration, and then on the outgoing side, call count, total call duration, and then average duration. Same options like we had in the search set stats. We can break down the call stats by different time units. Add the call scenario volume tables, add the charts and graphs, and then we can also get that break down to current concurrent call activity as well. So here's my grouping section. It's grouping on the calling or call party numbers, my total call count, origin call count, total duration, terminating, everything I had selected. You'll see right here. Clicking on any of these links will take you to that extension in the detail section, and then going down, here's that hourly breakdown from my grouping section here. Now this is total call count by hour, and then going down further, will take me to my detail. So here, going back, next step down is the call history details. This is exactly what we were seeing in the search the search history, where we have the different detail column, or on the detail side, each option here is a column, and so you can select from the list, move it to the right hand side, and then you'll see it in your detail section. If you're adding a lot of detail columns, I recommend running the report as Excel or HTML, because PDF will either wrap or cut off the columns. But here we can see the detail. I have daytime origination, call duration, ring times, calling parties, called parties, and then the far right, if we have the final option, start to finish or cradle to grave, enabled, we'll take those legs, we'll search for all the additional legs that are part of the call, and then you'll see a link here that says related calls with a count of the number of records, if there are additional records within the sequence. So if I click on this link here, it'll take me to the sequence for that call. So here's my highlighted records are the ones that were found through my search. So I was looking for anything with 4 digits. So here, and here, and then here's the rest of the call. So we can see the call came from Miley, went to 3332, which looks like it was an auto attendant. Then the call was delivered to probably a hunt group, and then here we have the hunt group delivering or trying to deliver the caller, and Muhammad again picks up, and they talk for 15 seconds. So there's a lot of different ways you can customize these reports. You can turn on or off the different features. If you don't want detail, you don't want cradle to grave, you can turn it off here. You can turn off the grouping as well. If you want like a simple single page report, you can turn off the headers and everything else, save the report, and then when you run it, it should be a simple single page report. So just by turning off some features here, I have 2 tables, my total call counts, and then my search stats here that just show me how many calls came in. So there's definitely a lot of options the way you can modify the reports. But if you're new to the call analytics, highly recommend getting those templates into the system. See how they work, see how they're built. We also have other webinars that kind of get into some of the different reports. I know I did one covering all of the nuances of the hunt group and call queue data, and then from there, you can break them down. And also, if you have any questions, you can always let us know at support@verify.com. And then before we go, I know we're running out of time here. Top of the page, clicking on schedules will take you to the menu where you can schedule reports. So click on the green text. It's just like building a report. You're adding a schedule. Follow the icons on the left-hand side under the schedule settings. We'll just call it test schedule. Select your report from the list. So we'll just pick any one of these. There's a report. Select your frequency, hourly, day, a week, by month. If you want it once a week, just turn off the other days. We run it once on Monday. Pick the time the report runs at, your time zone, search time window. Let's do previous week. Type in the word week. Previous week. We can exclude days of the week. Delivery method, email recipients. For this list here, you can't just freely type in any email. You can, if you're running a report just once on demand, you can type in anyone's email address. But if the report is being scheduled, you have to pre-add the email addresses under settings up here in the top corner under the email recipients list. So here we'll PDF is fine, email is fine. I'll send it to Matt. You can get some emails. And then then our schedule is saved. You can create as many schedules as you want. Much like the reports, if you have a lot of schedules to build out, use the copy function, edit function. If you want to manually run your schedule, click the button here. If you want to turn it off, turn off the toggle there. If you want to delete it there. I think that kind of wraps it up. We're just at 1:30.
All right,
I'll
excellent.
back to you.
All right, sounds good. Let me grab the screen back here. All right, moving right along. This is concludes this week's webinar. Next week is going to be Variphy 16 new features overview. That's going to be a good one, presented by Trey and Victor. Going to talk about all the new features in version 16, including the aforementioned Microsoft Teams analytics reporting. In fact, we're going to be doing some more in-depth webinars on the MS Teams reporting features over the next few weeks. So if you are at all interested in Microsoft Teams call analytics, be sure to register for those as well. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time as always, and we'll see you next week.